The views and opinions of the hosts or guests of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the management or staff of Intercom Memphis.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me, where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Rea.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790. Talking outdoors for the next 90 minutes as we roll into our 13th year. Coming up, it's hard to believe on this, the last Saturday in April. So that means fourth Saturday, if you're keeping track, which I know 3 or 4 of you are out there. So you know the fourth Saturday means that Bill Cooksey is in with us. Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Larry.
Get your microphone, Bill. You got to pull your microphone over there. Let's work this thing.
Morning,
We got
Larry.
a full house here this morning. You
That's
know.
right. And these guys are here
Pull
for
it down because you look like you're 2
these.
feet tall.
Well, I want to be able to move it back over really easy
Yeah,
because
okay,
these
yeah.
other gentlemen are here for a good reason.
Yes. We got some guests in here. Not only Bill Cooksey, but also, of course, this is Ron Wong. Bonus weekend, twice a month with Ron. And
Good
Ron.
morning, everybody, and welcome to Outdoors with Larry Rea.
Yes, and we got special guests on Saturday mornings. Ben Hogan takes care of us, our show producer. These guys are becoming a regular, and that's okay with us. That's all right.
Hey, that's a good thing
it's a
because
good thing because
they represent an awesome cause.
They do. Let me get my brochure out here so I'll be ready to go with all the information here. And that's Rick Lesley. Good morning, Rick. Pull that microphone down to you over there.
Morning, Larry.
All right. Pull that over there to Gary for a few minutes here. Let's kind of share. We're working around here. We got Rick Lesley and Gary Conklin, the tournament directors for the St. Jude Bass Classic, coming up on May the 25th at Sardis Lake, and the fishing for the kids of St. Jude's and everything else that's going on. And you guys, it's such an important tournament. It takes 2 guys to direct it. I don't know. Is somebody in command of someone? Are you 1 and he's 2, or is he?
We're just running the ship here.
They're just running the ship, and that's what we want.
One's rowing, one's steering.
And one steer. Well, who's got the motor is what I want to know. So that's hey guys, I know this is we've passed the early bird deadline, and I know you guys are geared up for this thing. So tell our listeners out there if they still want to get involved, and tell a little bit about the tournament. Rick, you do that.
There's still plenty of time. We're less than a month out for the tournament.
That's
now,
hard to
but
believe.
I know.
I know you guys
It's
think
rolling downhill quick.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of time for folks to register. The applications are in most local Walmarts, Bass Pro, Sportsman's Warehouse, Dick's. If they have trouble finding one, they can certainly call me at 901-412-7683, or they can get me online at rickleslie@hotmail.com, and I'll be glad to email them an app, or we'll even take one over the phone.
Over the phone. That's
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Of course, you can go to lroutdoors.com. We've got the entry all set up there, so all you can get all the information, so you'll know how to spell Rick's last name. You know, if you want, you can spell it any way you want to, but it's only got 1 S. Okay, it took me a long time to learn that Rick's only got Lesley.
Correct.
It's easier to remember that. Now, it's easier to remember Gary too, because he's been involved in this thing a few years yourself, right, Gary?
This will be my 32nd year involved in the St. Jude Bass Tournament.
Man, you started when you were 10.
Yeah, I was just 10 years old at the time.
In dog years.
Yeah, dog years, yeah.
It's been a labor of love and something that I've enjoyed, and certainly Larry Rea and Ron Wong is one of our. It may not be the only two-time winner of our St. Jude Bass Classic.
He is the only
that tells
two-time
you
winner.
about his age as well.
That is, yeah.
Oh,
but
thanks,
no, Ron is a two-time winner, and of course, Ron won it back when the rules were a little bit different, right, Ron? Tell me.
Well, it was everybody against everybody.
It was.
They had two pots that they drew your name in.
Would y'all have 20
Butter
boats? 20
and
boats or something
non-boaters.
like that?
And so you even fished against the partner that you had. It wasn't a partner tournament at the time. I think the first time that I won it, and I'm not going to say what year it was.
You're not.
I think there was like 500. I know the second time I won it, there was a little better than 600 people. I think like 640 or something like that.
And who did you fish with?
Holy cow! the first time that I won.
All you know is you won.
No, I had a guy named he's a vet here in Memphis
Uh-huh.
that everybody knows. What's his name?
Bill Meesey.
Bill Meesey.
You were in the boat with Bill Meesey?
Drew Bill Meesey.
In the first turn, that was the first tournament he ever fished.
Oh wow!
He didn't know a clue, and at the time, and I got to say, it was 1979.
Okay, that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that,
And
right?
at that time, Sardis Lake is completely different than what it was today. Starting at Holiday Lodge and going up was trees, and so you just had to know. Green trees, and at the time, I had found some fish up in Upper Graham Lake.
Yeah.
Which is above Highway 7.
Yeah.
And very few people at the time knew how to run up there. And I had a field that was flooded full of fish on buzzbaits, and they were just coming out at the time. So were graphite rods.
This is getting old.
Yeah.
This is getting old.
So I had the opportunity to win it there, and the second time I fished in the game warden's pond that was flooded. People were fishing his cornfields. I fished his pond levee and won it on a rattle trap.
Well,
I got a question. Did Bill Meesey talk as much then as he does now?
Gary,
he couldn't talk too much because I put a beating on him so bad going up there in a boat.
Yeah. Well,
and then coming back, it was so rough. He had to sit on the front of the boat to keep the bow down. So
you notice the way memories are coming back now all of a sudden, but I mean, there's memory, and really 42 years. I've got some great memories. Of course, I've never fished it, but I've been there for winnings and champions and people crying and the MC. It's
I have to tell you, Larry, more important than winning, and certainly we all like to win, but there's really one thing that wins all, and that's the children.
Well, that's
why we do it.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
And I know, Rick, you guys, it's a win. How much? What are we at now? How much money have we given over the years here?
We're
Pretty
probably
close.
over $3 million right now.
Over $3 million. Wow, a bunch of fishermen, over $3 million. Ron's got.
Well, I got to tell you something. This year's classic coming up, and I encourage everybody to get out. Number one, not only is it a good cause, but you get to see a lot of great friends. I go out every year to cover it.
It's a family reunion. I mean, it's lawn chairs and.
But I have to tell you, Rick and Gary's done a great job and really getting prizes and everything's together. I can remember when I won it. I think it was $500 and a boat motor and trailer. First place.
Still
this
fishing
year.
Out. He still got those now. If anybody would like to buy them.
$5,000, friends. Get out there. It's a great cause. You'll have a lot of fun.
It's guaranteed, and that's what I like.
Yeah, $5,000, 10 times as much.
Well, and who's this provided by?
Well, the first 3 places are provided by Wolf Chase Nissan.
Okay, I just wanted to throw it in there.
Yeah,
I know
we
you get
appreciate
$25 every time you mention it.
I guarantee
I just want to make sure that we do that.
Hey, do I get my $25?
Oh, you're out here. Would you
mention
give
10
him the
times?
microphone? Give Gary the microphone.
But
over there.
for the first time, we can say that all the money is guaranteed, and none of the money comes out of the payout. It's all been through corporate donations. So we're not having to take any of the money that the fishermen paid in. All the money goes back to the hospital. So we're very fortunate for that this year.
Let me tell you this. A few years back, we had Denny Breyer as our MC.
Right.
And we've had several different
Oh,
great
you've had
fishermen
some great MCs.
as our MC. And
Yeah.
he brought up a good point. Our tournament has been successful for the last 41 years because of the participation from the fishermen in this area.
Mm-hmm.
If the fishermen don't show up, the sponsors don't show up.
That's right.
And consequently, every year we have these people that come up and step up and donate this, donate that, so we can auction it off, give it away, or whatever the case may be. So our support is really from all the fishermen over the number of years.
And, one thing about this, and I know that we're talking to Gary Conklin and Rick Lesley, the St. Jude Bass Classic coming up and everything like that. I love the no bass pot.
You'd be surprised when people get one of these entry forms and they're not involved and hadn't heard about it. Why, y'all give away money for not catching a fish? And I said, well, yes, I think we play three places, $1,000, $500, and $250. And they're amazed at that.
I got to tell you something. I know guys as they come around into the weigh-in.
Yes.
First question they ask at the weigh-in boat. What's the cut line now to get into the prizes? And if the cut line's 8 pounds and they've got 5, they throw them all back then, right, Gary?
They go into the no fish pot and tickle to death to be in it.
Yep.
Well, we're talking to Gary Conklin and Rick Lesley, the St. Jude Bass Classic coming up on May the 25th, the 42nd annual St. Jude Bass Classic, the granddaddy of all of them. And we're going to talk to these guys a little bit throughout the show today. But I do want to thank you guys for dropping in on this Saturday morning. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Stick around. We're going to have some great guests as we talk outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 7. Let's take our first break in the morning, then we'll come right back and talk a little bow fishing. How about that? You like that, don't you? Yeah, I know that. All right, we're right back on Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790.
Way you can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea. What kind of legacy will we leave when our days upon this earth are gone?
Some of my fondest memories growing up were the times my dad took me hunting or fishing. Spending time with him outdoors was magic. I'm Don King for your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, inviting you to enjoy a Tennessee outdoor adventure. Share the experience with someone you love. Whether your passion is hunting, fishing, boating, or wildlife viewing, our state has it all. Visit our website at tnwildlife.org or download our new app for your smartphone or tablet by searching TWRA on the go, and let the legacy of your outdoor adventure begin.
Our legacy.
Summer is coming, and that means it's time to prepare for a summer of fishing, hiking, camping, and playing in the outdoors. If you're looking for a great way to get the family together outside, the free Fly Fishing 101 class from Orvis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center is the perfect place to start. From rod rigging to casting instruction, we're ready to help you prepare for your best season ever. And with a store full of the best rods, tackle, and clothing on the market, you're sure to find new gear for a summer of sport. Orvis is located in the Laurelwood Shopping Center at 4556 Poplar Avenue in Memphis. Please visit the website at www.orvis.com for more information on our store, driving directions, and for information on Fly Fishing 101 classes. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday noon to 6. Call 901-767-3592 for more information. That's 901-767-3592. Or visit orvis.com.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Rea, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790. Ben Hogan, our show producer, Ron Wong and Bill Cooksey in the studio, and special guest in here this morning, Gary Conklin and Rick Lesley, our good friends from the St. Jude Bass Classic coming up on May the 25th. We got another big tournament coming up next weekend up at one of my favorite places to go, and that's up at Table Rock and Bull Shoals area, up there near Springfield and that area. An event that this is the second annual U.S. Bowfishing Championship. That's May 2nd through the 4th at Table Rock and Bull Shoals Lake. And a big event that it kind of blew my mind when I started looking at some of the figures from last year's tournament and how many fish they caught. 17,000 pounds. That just blows my mind.
Good night.
Yeah, and how many participants and how many they think they'll have this year. Listen to this. Last year, 127 boats, 500 anglers from 27 states.
That's amazing.
That's last year.
And I have to tell you, those folks are serious about what they do. And they've got some serious boats, too. Bill and I were talking about this and how they customize some of these boats. Tracker Marine puts together the hull, and after that, it's all customized.
Raised decks and LED lights and fans
LED
to move them. And
this is pretty cool. And I know Ron has been through the Tracker Marine, went through and took the tour and everything like that. But, hey, we're privileged to have on Outdoors with Larry Rea this morning to talk about this big event. Is John Paul Morris. He is the Redhead Pro Hunting Team member and the general manager of the Bass Pro Shops online store. Good morning, John Paul.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so wonderful to have you on. Talk a little bit about this. How did this idea develop? I know you guys, you and your dad and the whole family up there have been involved in so many things. How did this happen? Who came up with this idea for this tournament?
Well, Larry, about 10 years ago, I got started bow fishing. I had a buddy take me. I've always been a big bow hunter. And the first night I went, I got hooked on it. It was so much fun.
The first night?
The first night I went, I got hooked on it. So I went to Tracker, and I had him build me a boat. Next thing you know, I was out there on the water bow fishing at night. And I was one of those rednecks with my own customized rig. But I'll tell you, the great thing about bow fishing is that there are so many rough fish in our lakes and rivers now.
Yeah.
That people are having success. You're going out there, you're seeing a lot of fish, you're shooting a lot of fish, you're getting a lot of shots, and it's really a fun time.
Well,
so after years of doing it, I had traveled to a couple tournaments, and I thought, heck, it'd be fun to put on a small tournament here in
small tournament, yeah.
And I put it together last year, and when I put it together, I was expecting about 40 boats to begin with, and we ended up with 127.
Golly. And so what do you think this year? What are you looking for this year, John Paul, after that, what happened last year?
Well, we're very excited. We still we're a little over a week away from the tournament, about a week and a half, and we're really excited. We've got 212 boats already signed up.
212 boats.
Now, can people still enter?
30 states represented. People can enter. If you sign up by Wednesday at 7 p.m., you get entered for the chance to win a brand new Tracker bow fishing boat. We do a random draw tournament.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We're also giving away a bad boy buggy. So there's some really cool incentives for people to get signed up ahead of time.
And how do they do that?
Up, they go to basspro.com/US Open.
Yep, it's all in there. We got it on lroutdoors.com, our website also, John. We're talking to John Paul Morris about the second annual U.S. Bowfishing Championship coming up May the 2nd through the 4th next weekend. And, John Paul, if I'm not mistaken, listen to this. Anyone who takes a new state record long-nosed gar or common carp during the tournament hours wins $10,000.
Wow.
Well, it's a great way. We got all these boats, and there's some guys that really compete to win the overall tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's a great incentive to keep people excited.
Yes.
And my goal for this tournament is not to only have the serious guys that want to win it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we call it the U.S. Open for a reason. It is open to anybody and everybody that wants to come. You'll see boats ranging from 14-foot John boats, all the way up to over 20-foot, big.
Yes,
I've seen
the guys that spent $60,000 or $70,000 on.
John Paul. That's good stuff. I've seen some of your boats, some of the Tracker boats out there, and it's pretty amazing. Now, what are the categories that you have that people can go in? An overall gar, long-nosed gar, carp, or buffalo, or do you have different categories, or what?
It's a big 20 tournament. So you go out and you shoot fish all night, and you weigh in your heaviest 20 fish. And that's how we determine the overall champion. The overall champion is also guaranteed $10,000 this year.
Wow. And it's 20, your heaviest 20 fish. So
heaviest 20 fish. And last year, I believe it was 360 365, 370 pounds won it. This year, we're a month later. I expect it to be over 500 pounds.
And spectators, I mean, this thing goes at night. I mean, you got all sorts of things going on. This is really you kick off on, Saturday, May the 3rd, beginning at 2 p.m. at your new Bass Pro Shops Outdoor Academy. 4 o'clock, there's going to be live music. Of course, I always like live music compared to dead music. But, I mean, so you're going to have all these different things for kids.
We've
you
got a lot
weigh-in.
of celebrities.
Yeah, weigh-ins at 7 a.m.
Yeah, we fish all night. It's 12 hours long. You shoot all night. We have a lot of fun. We're expecting to take over 30 tons of fish this year.
Wow.
That'll help the lake.
It's a really cool deal. We've got one of our partners is the Missouri Department of Conservation,
yes,
and they recognize bow fishing as a great way to manage the rough fish in our lakes and rivers.
Yeah,
We found a great partner this year called Fisher Industries, and they're actually bringing down refrigerated semi-trucks from Illinois, and their main business is turning these invasive carp, the Asian carp, silvers, and bighead, into food products. And then they actually sell it. They take it back to Asia and sell it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And, of course, it's I know you've got great support from the Fisheries Division for the Missouri Department of Conservation. They're into this. This is a win-win for everybody out there. And it's an event, folks. I know if you're looking for something to do next weekend on the first weekend in May, everybody likes to go to Springfield. There's some big store over there. I can't remember the name of it, but that you can stop off and see and everything like that. But hey, John Paul, we appreciate it. Let me throw in a real quickly here because I just got it from our good friends at DU. He didn't mind me saying this, but the Wetlands American Trust recently elected newest trustees, and guess who those are? That's Johnny Morris, and that's his son, John Paul. And congratulations to you guys for all the conservation work that you guys do. And this is a cool thing, John Paul. Now, are you ineligible to compete?
I go and compete. I don't take any money, but my goal is to go out there and shoot a couple big pictures.
There you go. There you go.
I'll be out there running around.
All right, you'll be out. All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Rea. Tell everybody hello for us, and have a great tournament. And maybe we can hook back up here with you maybe in May sometime to get kind of a final report how it went. Okay?
That'd be great. Thank you, Larry.
All right, thank you, John Paul. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, John Paul Morris. Wow, that's a bow fishing. Now,
it's a hoot.
Now, I have been, but I've been to Horseshoe and 4 or 5 times. I won't tell the guy I went, but it was the most wild experience, other than hand grabbing. Now that was an experience too.
I'll go bow fishing.
Bow fishing was something.
And the thing that makes it so great up there at Table Rock, the water's very clear, so you get to see a lot of fish.
This is at night, Ron.
Yeah, I know.
They don't have little flashlights out there looking for fish.
No, I have to tell you, I was out on one of their boats at night, and I have to tell you, it's like daylight.
It is, but you don't have to have all that to get into it. I mean, we use our bass boat, and around up there on Kentucky Lake, and even just off our dock. I'll leave the light on.
And here
in the evening, and we'll go up and eat supper, and after a couple hours, little Bill and I'll go down, and he'll shoot gar by the light of the dock.
Yeah, and you could bring the carp up by just bringing some dry dog food and throwing it out and letting it stay on the top. They'll come up, and you can have a ball.
Right.
They're going to have a lot of. They're going to have the King of Bucks mobile exhibit will be there, featuring the 25 world record whitetail mounts. They're going to have practice bow fishing tank, inflatable BB gun, casting. If Bass Pro is going to do it, they're going to put their efforts into it to make it like that. So that's a wonderful event coming up May the 2nd through the 4th over at Springfield, Missouri, and we appreciate John Paul Morris being in it. I wanted to ask him about being the manager of the Bass Pro Shop's online store. I bet you think they do some business on that?
They probably get a few people on that site.
I bet they do get a few people on that site from all over the world, even probably Sardis.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's take a break, Ben, all right? Gary Conklin, Rick Lesley in the studio for the St. Jude Bass Classic on Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790.
find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Power. Let that word sink in for a minute. You crave power. You need power. And at Barton Power Sports, we put all that power right in your hands. Barton Power Sports of Arkansas combines the power of 7 brands from 2 locations into one single company, whose sole mission is to make sure you have the ultimate power sports experience. Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Victory, and Argo. Each line standing on its own, but backed by the Barton Power Sports commitment to excellent service before, during, and after the sale. Barton Power Sports is open 6 days a week to accommodate your schedule. No hidden dock fees. What you see is what you get. Your deal, done your way. Now that's power. Barton Power Sports, with locations in Jonesboro and West Memphis. Go to bartonpowersports.com. The power of play.
What kind of legacy will we leave when our days upon this earth are gone?
Some of my fondest memories growing up were the times my dad took me hunting or fishing. Spending time with him outdoors was magic. I'm Don King for your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, inviting you to enjoy a Tennessee outdoor adventure. Share the experience with someone you love. Whether your passion is hunting, fishing, boating, or wildlife viewing, our state has it all. Visit our website at tnwildlife.org or download our new app for your smartphone or tablet by searching TWRA on the go, and let the legacy of your outdoor adventure begin.
Our legacy.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Rea, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Rea, talking outdoors every Saturday morning, and this being the 4th Saturday of the month. Special guest in studio with us is Rick Lesley and Gary Conklin from the St. Jude Bass Classic, coming up on May the 25th, and it's not too late to sign up for that classic, and we're going to talk some more with Gary and Rick as we go out throughout the show. Of course, Ron Wong being the 4th Saturday, that means Ron Wong and Bill Cooks are in. I need a lot of help on this 4th Saturday. I always have plenty of people in here to keep me propped up and everything.
Hey, you can do it, Larry. You are the man.
I am the senior member of the troop here, but of course we have Ben Hogan who keeps us all straight as he learns. He's taking notes now. Have you noticed that Ben's got a pencil and paper listening to all these outdoor things?
I have to tell you something.
Yeah,
if you want to get a good laugh.
A good laugh with Ben?
Yeah, and he has some really, really interesting things to say.
Yeah.
Follow Ben on Twitter. Especially about the Grizzlies. He can keep you up to date.
Well, speaking of keep you up, that's what the Grizzlies do. I know that for a fact.
They're doing well.
They're doing well. All right. Let's talk outdoors right now. We got a special guest coming in with us right now. Bassmaster Elite rookie and the DIY rod builder. That's Brandon Lester of Fayetteville, Tennessee. Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, guys. How you doing this morning?
Hey, buddy. I've been looking forward to talking to you because Brandon not only doesn't just fish, he fishes with
He fishes with the big boys.
He fishes with the big boys, but he's got a certain maybe that sets him a little apart from other big boys because
he's kind of his own rod sponsor.
He is his yeah. I mean, he's custom rod building and tackle crafting. Brandon, first of all, good morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Rea, and tell our listeners a little bit how this developed. That you. And I know there's got to be satisfaction in do-it-yourself custom rod building. You're right out there in the boat using your own equipment. Tell our listeners a little bit about how this all evolved.
Yeah, Larry, first and foremost, let me thank you guys for having me on this morning. I really look forward to the opportunity of talking to you guys. But the way I got into custom rod building, I actually got a phone call from a guy named Bob McCamey who actually works at Mudhole. And they were interested in sponsoring an elite guy, and they asked if I had ever tried to build any of my own rods. And I actually had never tried the rod building side. I had done a lot of tackle crafting. I built a lot of my own jig skirts and have done some custom painting on crankbaits as well. But I went and met with those guys, and it's actually a really unique sponsorship because you don't hear a whole lot about custom rod building in the bass fishing market so much. But we're hoping to change that in Mudhole.
Well, we're talking to Brandon Lester of Fayetteville, Tennessee. Not only is he a rookie pro on the Bassmaster Elite Series, but has taken it a step further to show his love for the sport, that he's actually the rods he uses are things he's built himself. And, that's got to be satisfaction. I mean, when you catch a fish, you can say, well, I helped in that process.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of things, and we've all been there. You go to the store and you buy a rod, and you say, well, I like this and I like this about that rod, but I just wish I could change this one little thing. And that's the beauty of custom rod building. I can put whatever length handle on my rods I want. I can put whatever kind of guides on my rod I want, whatever kind of handle I want. I can use cork. I can use foam. So the possibilities are endless, and it's really I really enjoy it as well.
Brandon, where do you find the time to be able to do that? And certainly I know you take a lot of input from a lot of different people, a lot of the pros that you fish against, but where do you find the time to build these rods?
It actually doesn't take as long as you really think. I mean, a lot of people think it takes days to put one together, and if you want to get into the really fancy thread work and stuff like that, it can take a lot of time. But the rods that I build for myself on tour, I probably don't have but probably 2.5 to 3 hours of work time in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it in steps. I'll take all my rod blanks that I get in, I'll put all my handles on, and then I'll take them and wrap my guides on, and then I'll start my epoxying. And I kind of do it in steps, so that breaks it up, and I do it as I have time.
Hey, Brandon, if someone was interested in looking at your rods, especially in our area, in the Memphis, West Tennessee area, where do they go and find that information? And, what's the process like? If I was interested in getting one of your rods, what do I need? How can I do it?
Okay. You can actually find all the rod blanks and all the equipment that I use on Mudhole's website at mudhole.com, and I actually use their rod blanks, their house rod blanks, which are called MHX rod blanks. And we've actually got rod blanks for not just bass fishing. We've got carp, walleye, steelhead rods, all those different kind of rods, and you can find those at fishmhx.com.
Yeah.
Now, the rods that I actually built for myself, I don't sell any of them yet. I'm hoping maybe one day I can get to that point, but I don't do that as of yet.
You tell me, and I've heard this, you fished your first tournament when you were 16?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Sure did.
How old are you now?
I am 26, just turned 26 last week.
You're a 10-year veteran. That's hard to believe.
Yeah. I've come a long way in 10 years, man.
Well, first of all, congratulations on what you've done on the Elite Series. I mean, out of the 12 tournaments that you fish, you have finished in the top 58 times.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a heck of a deal.
Well, thank you, guys. I really appreciate that.
7 times in the money. That's even more important. Right?
Yeah.
That's real important.
That's real important for him. We're talking to Brandon Lester out of Fayetteville, Tennessee. And, Brandon, I know one thing that I was really impressed with you, that when you went to school at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, that you were one of the founding members of the bass fishing team. Is that right?
Yes, sir, I was. Yeah, I actually got there about the time that the whole college fishing thing really blew up, and we were fortunate enough to have enough guys there at the college that wanted to start a team, and I was among the first ones that got it started at UTC.
And this is amazing now. Do you look back now and say, I know you're only 26, but see how that end has come so big now with collegiate bass fishing? It's getting bigger every year.
It absolutely is, man, and it's awesome too. I always encourage people to get into the college fishing and high school kids as well. I talked to a lot of high school kids this year when I was working the Mudhole booth at the Classic, and I encouraged all of them, man. Find a way to get a team started at your high school and get that love and that passion going when you take it through college, and then you can start fishing opens and make it to the elites just like I did. I mean, it takes a lot of hard work. It's not easy, but it can be done.
Well, what's the goals for 2014 here for Brandon Lester?
Man, I'm really hoping I can qualify for the Bassmaster Classic.
There you go.
You got a lot of really, really stiff competition here in the Elite Series, and my last 2 tournaments hadn't really went the way I really wanted them to. I got off to a good start at Seminole, but we still got a lot of the season left, and I'm hoping to turn it around next week at Toledo Bend.
That's what I was going to ask you, because would it not be pretty amazing, Brandon, to work the mud hole booth one year and fish in the Classic the next?
That's the goal, man. That's what I told them. That's what I told them this year. I said, look here, guys, I love every one of you, but I want to be fishing next year. I don't want to be standing in this booth.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, Brandon Lester, thank you, buddy, for being on Outdoors with Larry Rea. You folks check it out. You can go to the Mud Hole. I love the name Mud Hole. It's just something about it. You know, because it's check out all their different things that they've got out there. And
very impressive.
Yeah. Google Brandon Lester. He's one of our own from Tennessee, from Fayetteville, Tennessee, over there. Brandon, nothing but success, buddy. Good luck down at Toledo Bend, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And
thanks, guys.
And we'll talk to you later down the road, okay?
All right. Thanks, guys.
Have a great day.
It.
All right.
You too.
Brandon Lester, guys. And, I mean,
that custom rod building, like he said, it's not hard to do. I've done a few fly rods. And
well, he said in the winter it's a great time to do it when the vortexes are coming through.
Yeah.
That's
right.
And work. I'm sure everybody's got custom rods right in here.
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
How many? No, I don't even want to know how many rods you got. I mean,
do you even have any idea? I don't. And I don't fish like you.
I don't have a clue how many I have.
How about you?
There's several hundred.
How about you, Gary?
My boat holds 10. I've got 15 in it.
Your boat holds 10.
And I got 15 in it.
And Rick, of course, he's got all these big cars that he drives around and everything. It's got plenty of room for rods, right? Fill them up? Yeah. You drive through the rod place and said, give me 5 rods on the go.
Yeah, just get them and take off.
Actually, I have a floating tackle box.
A floating tackle box? Oh, come on. All right.
It's called a Ranger boat.
Well, let me ask Rick again as we get closer. Then, again, Rick, give them the information about how they can sign up. I'm sure that tell them how to get in touch with you and things like that.
Well, again, the tournament's May 25th, so we're less than a month out. There's applications at most area Walmarts, Bass Pro, Sportsman's Warehouse, Dick's, and then obviously they can get it on your website at
LROutdoors.com. And I want to ask one thing. Volunteers. You like volunteers, don't you?
Oh, we love volunteers. That's the only way this tournament can run is with the volunteers, and without them, we don't function.
Yeah.
So
and you're talking about 2 of the top volunteers in studio today.
Well, I know these guys
Rick
have been
and
with
Gary.
it since forever. And Gary, before we get through, I always have to hear Gary's story because it's part of the St. Jude tradition. And I know there's so many stories involved in this tournament over the years, and I can think back. But we're going to talk to Gary and listen to his story about his daughter and things like that. That it means a lot.
It means everything.
Yeah.
You try to repay or do something to receive what you have been blessed with, and it's been a thrill to be involved in it for the last 31 years.
Well, I appreciate both of you guys, Rick and Gary, for your passion for this. And, folks, even if you don't fish or anything like that, take your lawn chair and go down there on May the 25th.
Well, I'll tell you.
Auction that day.
Yeah.
A lot of things for people to come down and look at.
And you know what?
And there's food.
And there's other ways to get involved. Fishing for kids.
Yeah, we're going to talk.
All the other guys and Gary's going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about fishing for kids and all like that on the segment on today's show. Let's take another break. Come right back on Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790.
You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea.
For years, you've heard me talking about my love affair with Gaston's White River Resort near Lakeview, Arkansas. Hello, I'm Larry Rea, and in my opinion, there's no better time to visit Gaston's than in the spring. Gaston's in the spring is all about beauty. Spring offers some of the White River's best fishing opportunities to catch lunker rainbows or pole-bending browns. There's beauty in the air when a rainbow or brown takes flight with hook and mouth. Gaston's offers more than 2 miles of river frontage. The beautiful scenery along the White River is a photographer's and nature lover's dream come true. But there's more. At Gaston's, enjoying the great outdoors does not mean roughing it. Its beautiful cottages are first class, comfortable, and spotlessly clean. Some even have large redwood decks. And of course, there's the beauty of the resort's restaurant, famous not only for its food, but its location perched over the White River. As resort owner Jim Gaston likes to say, at Gaston's, it costs no more to go first class. To take my advice, make a memory, go to gastons.com or call them at 870-431-5202. Tell them Larry Rea sent you.
Summer is coming, and that means it's time to prepare for a summer of fishing, hiking, camping, and playing in the outdoors. If you're looking for a great way to get the family together outside, the free Fly Fishing 101 class from Orvis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center is the perfect place to start. From rod rigging to casting instruction, we're ready to help you prepare for your best season ever. And with a store full of the best rods, tackle, and clothing on the market, you're sure to find new gear for a summer of sport. Orvis is located in the Laurelwood Shopping Center at 4556 Poplar Avenue in Memphis. Please visit the website at www.orvis.com for more information on our store, driving directions, and for information on Fly Fishing 101 classes. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday noon to 6. Call 901-767-3592 for more information. That's 901-767-3592. Or visit orvis.com.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Rea, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790, talking outdoors. Rick Lesley, Gary Conklin of the St. Jude Bass Classic in studio with us this morning, along with Ron Wong and Bill Cooksey, and we were talking about classic memories, and I know Gary, I know this is a special tournament for you, and I never get tired of hearing your story. So, Ron, let him have that microphone. Gary, tell me how you got involved in this and what the Classic means to you.
Larry, back in 1983, my wife and myself and my daughter and my son, we walked in with St. Jude with a problem with our daughter. She was 12 years old at the time and been diagnosed with dysgerminoma cancer. And not being that familiar with it, which at that particular time, St. Jude had been around for about 20 years and different support throughout the country and the world, really. And so you really don't know what to expect when you walk into a place like that. Well, in the first 30 minutes of being in St. Jude, we had a doctor, and forgive me for his name, telling me that what my daughter's diagnosis was, and that we have a 89% cure rate with radiation and a 98% cure rate with chemotherapy. Mm-hmm. And that impressed me tremendously because we'd never been in there before. They just took the diagnostics where she had the operation about a week before. And by the way, she was in a hospital for 5 days and did a somersault down the hallway on the last day in the hospital. So that tells you about the resilience of kids.
That's right.
You know,
yeah.
I'm sitting there watching this, and and she's doing fine. But we went in there and we went through some testing, so on and so forth, and some radiation treatments, and then the following January we had second look surgery. At the time, that was the most surefire way you know of where your situation is at, and. Diagnosed that she had no more cancer in her body, but we continued with some follow-up visits, so on and so forth. And I'm not going to tell you her age, but I've been involved in the St. Jude for 31 years.
It gives you an idea. Yeah.
At her age, but she's doing fine, and it's I've often said it's the worst and the best thing that ever happened to me. The community and the people that I knew. Calling and supporting, and is just unbelievable what can happen out of something like this that'll bring people together. And as a part of it, a good friend of mine, two friends, Tom and Nina Patrick, who were in the Memphis Bass Club at the time, asked me to get involved in the St. Jude Bass Classic, and I was just starting to fish some then, and one thing led to another, and they're still putting up with me down there.
Well, and I know Rick, in your tenure with the tournament, these are the kind of stories that you hear. And,
and it's just amazing because you hear parents go in with no clue and no hope, and then once they walk into St. Jude, that hope's renewed. They know their child's going to be okay, and the big thing, they know they're not going to be out any money.
Yes,
because regardless of the family's situation, they're never charged when they go down there.
Well, I know
that's why we do what we do, is to help support.
Well, that tour that I took last year, thanks to you guys, my wife and myself got a chance to take that tour. And
do you remember I challenged your wife to find somebody in St. Jude that didn't have a smile on their face?
Yeah. And in the cafeteria, wherever you might be.
Exactly.
And that's the way they operate down there. And so these events, and I know there's a lot of events for St. Jude, but if I'm not mistaken, this was the first fishing tournament.
It was the first and the oldest.
And the oldest, because I know there are other ones now.
Absolutely.
The fellow in Louisiana that I can't
Charles Williams. He'll be up here this year.
Yes, that comes in for this, and everything.
You're going to have some jambalaya.
You're just thinking food. He's always thinking food, And when I mentioned cafeteria, Ron Wong woke up over there.
I'll tell you a true story. They started coming up here about 10 years ago, and when all these people from Louisiana come up here, we got food up here, and I think we got good food.
Yes.
But it don't suit them. They bring and they cook their own. Well, the first year, all they did was cook their own. They got our products from up here. We don't grow the right kind of rice, onions, or don't have boudin sausage, and don't have any alligator. So from there on, they've been bringing all their food up here, and they cook.
And you know what? And they'll sell it, and all of the proceeds goes to St. Jude, and that's a great thing. And their jambalaya is absolutely excellent. And no, there's not any around this area of the country as good as that.
Well, it's just part of the experience, as Rick and Gary will tell you. I can remember my time when I was we served donuts down there for several years, where our group was down there. We did a worship service before the event, and those guys were just wonderful. It's just to see the coordination. But I can remember, guys, there were some really exciting blast-offs back in some of the days that I can remember when the weather was in. I can still see the whites of some people's eyes. It's so, and that's just memories. I know you guys are organized now with flights and X number and how many comes in and how many comes out. But it's just an experience to see all those people. And, of course, we want 300 boats, whatever you want. We want as many boats as possible.
It's an experience from the standpoint, if you're standing on top of the dam at Sardis looking at Engineers Point, and you see 300 boats sitting out in the water, that means that there's 300 trucks and 300 trailers that have to be parked, and this takes volunteers.
It is
to
unbelievable.
But they're sitting out there as early as 2:30 in the morning, and they may not go out until 5:30 or 6 o'clock, depending on. But they're there on the water, waiting, raring to go and everything, hoping they get to their spot first. Well, we've changed that to where you can buy boat number one by participating in the Fishing for Kids program.
That's it. Yes.
And I talked a while ago about the support from the people around here. Well, the last 4 years, and this will be our 5th year offering, we had a Fishing for Kids program where you can buy boat number one by raising the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 4 years, 30 boats a year, average, have raised over $200,000 trying to buy boat number one.
Wow.
That overwhelmed me.
Wow.
And so, we promote that, and the participation this year is there again, and it's going to happen at the cutoff date is May the 4th, which is a Sunday, to have your money in. But they've been contributing and sending their money in and everything. And it's amazing to see how fishermen will go above and beyond. There's one fisherman that's always in it, and his name's Kenny Self.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest thing ever invented was an Excel spreadsheet. This guy has something like 200 people or 200 different donations. Somebody got to keep track of.
Yeah.
If without an Excel spreadsheet, it'd be a nightmare.
It's amazing. We're talking to Rick Lesley and Gary Conklin about the St. Jude Bass Classic coming up, the 42nd annual. Man, I was a young guy back then. Okay, when it started back, but it's on May the 25th. Engineers, don't tell me how old I am, Ron. Don't start reaching for that microphone.
I was gonna say that
Yeah.
you're not an old man. You're
No.
only as old as you want to feel.
That's right. And then some days I do feel that when I'm chasing them turkeys.
And there's no truth to the old rumor that you'll actually hold the patent on dirt.
No, Ron has that.
Okay.
No, Ron has that. As long as he has that patent, I'm okay and everything. All right, let's take a break. I think we're hooked up now with Chris Lane. Going to come back, talk a little fishing. I'll turn that all over to Ron because I only ask the dumb questions. You know, I don't know what sexy shad sounds like. Something that, you know, I used to date somebody like that. No, but I mean, he knows all these terms and things like that. Right? Huh? I like to talk fishing. Let's talk. We're going to come right back on Outdoors with Larry Rea. Chris Lane coming on with us on Sports 790.
Way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea.
For years, you've heard me talking about my love affair with Gaston's White River Resort near Lakeview, Arkansas. Hello, I'm Larry Rea, and in my opinion, there's no better time to visit Gaston's than in the spring. Gaston's in the spring is all about beauty. Spring offers some of the White River's best fishing opportunities to catch lunker rainbows or pole-bending browns. There's beauty in the air when a rainbow or brown takes flight with hook and mouth. Gaston's offers more than 2 miles of river frontage. The beautiful scenery along the White River is a photographer's and nature lover's dream come true. But there's more. At Gaston's, enjoying the great outdoors does not mean roughing it. Its beautiful cottages are first class, comfortable, and spotlessly clean. Some even have large redwood decks. And of course, there's the beauty of the resort's restaurant, famous not only for its food, but its location perched over the White River. As resort owner Jim Gaston likes to say, at Gaston's, it costs no more to go first class. To take my advice, make a memory, go to Gastons.com or call them at 870-431-5202. Tell them Larry Rea sent you.
Power. Let that word sink in for a minute. You crave power. You need power. And at Barton Power Sports, we put all that power right in your hands. Barton Power Sports of Arkansas combines the power of 7 brands from 2 locations into one single company, whose sole mission is to make sure you have the ultimate power sports experience. Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Victory, and Argo. Each line standing on its own, but backed by the Barton Power Sports commitment to excellent service before, during, and after the sale. Barton Power Sports is open 6 days a week to accommodate your schedule. No hidden dock fees. What you see is what you get. Your deal, done your way. Now that's power. Barton Power Sports, with locations in Jonesboro and West Memphis. Go to bartonpowersports.com. The power of play.
Part of the Memphis Sports Network, carrying St. Louis Cardinals baseball and University of Tennessee Volunteers basketball and football. This is the legendary WMC Memphis. CBS Sports Radio for the Mid-South. CBS Sports 790 AM.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me, where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea. Listen up and learn about it
Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Rea.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Rea. Talking outdoors every Saturday morning on Sports 790. Ben Hogan, our show producer. Bill Cooksey and Ron Wong, our co-host. Rick Lesley and Gary Conklin of the St. Jude Bass Classic in the studio. And I know all you guys are familiar with this next guest because he's been on Outdoors with Larry Rea many times. Either he or his brother Bobby. And, now he's telling us his brother Arnie's getting married. He's trying to give advice to Arnie. Well, we don't want to. We want to hear some fishing.
Don't do it, Arnie.
No. Chris Lane, did you hear that? Did you hear that, Chris? Yeah, he's saying don't do it. Give him all the advice you want to, okay, Chris? So.
That's right. That's right. I tell you what, when I got married, my whole world changed and my fishing got better. So that's the advice I gave.
Well, now that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing because I know how much family means to you. And, hey, we're really glad to have Chris Lane on with us. Of course, he won back, I think, early this year in March, the St. John's Bassmaster Elite title by 14 pounds, 90 pounds, 13 ounces. That just bogs my mind here. I mean, Chris, did you feel it when you went into that tournament?
I did. I felt that as practice went on. Did I feel like I could win by 14 pounds? No. Did I think I had a chance to win? I don't know. I went in there with the sheer aspect of let's go out there and do our best. I knew that I was on some good fish, on a good pattern, the way that I like to fish. Did I think it would be enough to win? I knew that only time would tell that. And, of course, that giant bag the second day was pretty phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal.
How big was that second day bag?
It was 37 pounds, 9 ounces.
37 pounds, 9 ounces. Ron,
5 bass. 5
bass.
Absolutely.
That's about what I've caught this year.
Total. Hey, Chris, the last day of the tournament, you're trying to seal up the win. And I read somewhere, and I don't remember where you had to put up with boat traffic, and some of it was not so pleasant. Talk to and tell all of our listeners the mental aspect of having to put up with something like that.
Well, going into that last day, the last day wasn't too bad. The Saturday was a little rough, but that's what we deal with. That's the sport that we know and love, and everybody loves to go fishing on Saturday. So fishing in an area where I knew there was going to be some boat traffic, and with it being a pretty day and everything,
you had a lot of locals there.
Yeah, and you have to deal with that because everybody's got a right on the water. So
right.
That's just one of those things that you deal with mentally and focus on the job at hand, because I promise it's not just you that have to deal with it. It's every other angler that's out there too.
But of course, you're in your home state, really. You're in Florida. That's where your roots are, and the family roots and everything like that. So you kind of expect some folks are going to be pulling for you.
Oh, absolutely. It was a blast. Every minute of that tournament was just an enjoyable event. You don't get to fish too many tournaments like just exactly the way that you grew up fishing, exactly the way that you want to fish it, and everything just kind of go, to be enjoyable. So that was one thing that was neat to me. I was able to enjoy the 4 days that I fished, and to come out on top was even icing on the cake.
Chris, you leave the confines of what you really like to fish and how you very, very well finishing 17th place at Table Rock Lake. How do you make those adjustments?
But those adjustments, Table Rock Lake of the Ozarks, getting a check in an Ozark Lake that I remember always being a struggle for me. Putting my head down, having confidence after winning the St. John's, knowing that I already made the Classic, I was able to just go out there and go fishing. And I found where I was missing the Ozark Lakes, and that was the sheer fact of putting your head down and going down a bank with a Lucky Strike crankbait or whatever you're throwing, and just continue to throw it all day long.
And that's really not even your style either, is it?
It's not. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. But,
sure.
Really, just doing that, and I will say I did catch a 5-pounder flipping a jig on 65-pound braid table rock. So I was excited for that one too.
Chris, I have the opportunity to go do some sight fishing in a Clearwater Lake here later on today at Dale Hollow. And I understand that the fish are on the beds and everything else. Give myself and all of our listeners some tips on sight fishing. I mean, you do a lot of it. That's how you do a lot of that in Florida and everywhere you go.
Yeah, the one thing about sight fishing is I'm not one of the guys that likes to sit up on top of the fish and actually see the fish bite the bait and stuff like that. Just because, I'm just not one of those guys that have that kind of patience. But one of the things with the sight fishing is when you find an area that have, some fish in there, I like to kind of get an idea of where the fish are, and then I'll sit way back and make long casts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I like to do it, because if I'm right on top of them, it just doesn't really excite me as much as sitting way back. But now in a tournament, if I pass by an 8-pounder, I'm not, I will put my power poles down and, spend a little bit of time there.
Hey, we're talking to Chris Lane here on Outdoors with Larry Ray. He won the St. John's Bassmaster Elite title of 14-plus pounds, a total weight of 90 pounds, 13 ounces. That was his 6th Bassmaster victory, including, of course, all you folks out there who follow this show and follow Chris know he won the 2012 Classic title. And Chris, we've got a couple of guys in the studio with us this morning who are part of a big event up here that we have every year. It's the St. Jude Bass Classic, which has raised over $3 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And I know you, with 4 kids and a family man, you have really spent a lot of your career devoted really to helping causes, hadn't you?
Yeah, that's a great event. And, when you talk about kids, you deal with kids that aren't as fortunate and sometimes just don't have the means, and to be able to raise money for St. Jude's, I think that's great for you guys up there, and it's great for the kids, and that is the future of the sport. So anything we can do to help out, or that y'all can do to help out, is just fantastic.
Well, I know you do some kids fishing camps too, don't you?
I do, yes, sir. We run one down here in July, and it'll be July 26th down here in Gunnersville. And what we do, we just give the kids the means to go fishing, and they get to take everything home with them. And if they've got a pond or a stream or somewhere close, or if they want to just cast in the bucket in the backyard, they'll have the means to do that. So it's just good. It's good for the kids, give them something to do besides play video games. Well,
that's the whole point of this thing. And as you look ahead to 2014, Chris, what's next? And man, you've already had this tremendous start down in Florida. What are you looking for in 2014?
Well, getting by Table Rock was a big step for me.
Getting by Table Rock, yeah. It's over. It's behind you, right?
Yes, it is. So moving forward, really going to try to stay focused and not slip up, and really try to keep getting some top 12s and try to stay in the ball game, and make a shot at Angler of the Year.
I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of events left.
You
so.
got a lot. You got a shot at the AOY for sure this year, and doing well. And
yeah.
So
well, we
that's
just
important.
We appreciate you, Chris, again being on Outdoors with Larry Rea, and I know that a lot of our listeners out there are big fans of you, and I know that we look forward to Arnie's wedding now. So we know we've broken that on the air up here. So all of Arnie's fans now will know that.
Where are they registered?
Yeah. We're send all money to Chris. Okay, that's what he'll say.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. I sure appreciate it, guys, and appreciate the show, man.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you down the road, and have a great day and a great weekend, okay?
All right, y'all too. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Chris. All right. Let's take a break. Wow, it's fun talking to Chris Lane, Bobby Lane, all those guys. That Lane family.
That is fun.
It is.
It's always a good interview.
It is. He makes it that way. We're going to have another good interview coming up with a young lady who is a pretty good shooter. And
you think?
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, I think she really is.
She really is.
Yeah, we're going to come right back and talk to Kaci Cochran on Outdoors with Larry Rea on Sports 790.
You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea. What kind of legacy will we leave when our days upon this earth are gone?
Some of my fondest memories growing up were the times my dad took me hunting or fishing. Spending time with him outdoors was magic. I'm Don King for your Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, inviting you to enjoy a Tennessee outdoor adventure. Share the experience with someone you love. Whether your passion is hunting, fishing, boating, or wildlife viewing, our state has it all. Visit our website at tnwildlife.org or download our new app for your smartphone or tablet by searching TWRA on the go, and let the legacy of your outdoor adventure begin.
Our legacy.
Summer is coming, and that means it's time to prepare for a summer of fishing, hiking, camping, and playing in the outdoors. If you're looking for a great way to get the family together outside, the free Fly Fishing 101 class from Orvis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center is the perfect place to start. From rod rigging to casting instruction, we're ready to help you prepare for your best season ever. And with a store full of the best rods, tackle, and clothing on the market, you're sure to find new gear for a summer of sport. Orvis is located in the Laurelwood Shopping Center at 4556 Poplar Avenue in Memphis. Please visit the website at www.orvis.com for more information on our store, driving directions, and for information on Fly Fishing 101 classes. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday noon to 6. Call 901-767-3592 for more information. That's 901-767-3592 or visit orvis.com.
Now back to Outdoors with Larry Rea, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, and Barton Power Sports.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Rea, talking outdoors every Saturday morning. And guys, Ron Wong, Bill Cooksey, it's always, fast moving, right?
It's always good.
It's guests. The guest is what make it.
That's
right.
It really is. And we've had some great guests on. We've got another great guest coming.
Yes.
Awesome.
We've just found out that she grew up with one of our favorite people on Outdoors with Larry Rea. And you listeners out there know when I mention Jessie Duff, you know right away who I'm talking about. She's been in the studio. She and her husband Matt live right down in Horn Lake, Mississippi. And we talk a lot with Jessie. Well, we're going to talk to Kaci Cochran right now. And Kaci emerged victorious back back in March at Titusville, Florida. She took the ladies open division and the high lady overall. Maybe she was wearing overalls. I don't know or not. But Kaci Cochran, good morning, Kaci.
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing wonderful. And tell our listeners your connection with Jessie.
Jessie and I actually have known each other most of our life. I met her when I was about 10 years old. Jesse's father and mine actually shot together back in the day when my dad was still competing.
Really?
Wow.
Okay. And I know that if your dad's Pat, right?
Yes, sir.
And is it true, Kaci, that he took you to the range when you were 2 weeks old?
Yes, sir. My mama was pregnant with me the entire time that my dad was orchestrating an Area 6 championship. And at 2 weeks of age, that was my first trip, was to the range when the match was over.
So you were born to do this?
Yes, sir. Literally, I was born into this.
Now, you weren't forced into it.
No, sir.
You just born into it. So tell our listeners a little bit about how you started and how you got to where you are, because it's a pretty phenomenal story.
Yes, sir. Actually, it's a funny story. I actually grew up around horses and guns. I rodeoed from about the time I was 10 till I was about 15 or 16.
And goat tying. I understand you did some goat tying, too.
I did goat tying, calf roping, pole bending, barrel racing, you name it, I did it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And about age 13, my dad got me into shooting .22 rifles, just going and plinking at the range. And then, he and I would go, and I'd go shoot with Jesse. And I decided that I wanted to get into shooting steel challenge. So I started off shooting the .22s and immediately just got hooked on it. And then I decided that I wanted to jump into the big boys class, as I called it then. And I wanted to start drawing the gun and shooting IPSC and USPSA. So I kind of got into it that way, and I've just been on a tear ever since.
You really have. We're talking to Kaci Cochran. And, Kaci, you call home where?
Actually, I live in McDonough, Georgia, just south of Atlanta.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that
Love it.
Did you grow up there? Is that where you grew up too?
Yes, sir. I grew up in Forest Park, and then we moved to McDonough about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you're 23?
Yes, sir.
Wow. This is coming pretty fast for a 23-year-old young lady.
Yes, sir, it is, and I just recently moved out of home and all that good stuff, and it's going to be a big year for me.
It is. 2014 is going to be a big year for Kaci Cochran, and I know, Kaci, to our listeners out there, that I've asked everybody this, what's going through your mind? And I've watched you folks out there. You just Googled Kaci Cochran. That's Kaci Cochran, and you watch the way this young lady can shoot that pistol. I ask. And I've asked Jesse the same thing. When you're in competition and you're trying to block everything out, what's going through Kaci's mind to try to block out all the distractions?
Honestly, I just step up there, I visualize what I need to do, and, every time I step on a range, I know I'm there to work. I have sponsors that I have responsibilities to. I'm also there to try to have fun. But when it comes time for me to shoot, I step up there, I clear my mind, I know what I need to do, and I just need to get the job done at hand.
But you got to, just watching you, I get nervous, okay?
Why do you get nervous?
Because it's going so fast.
Well, it does, but the funny thing about that is when you're in the moment and you're shooting, and Jesse will probably tell you the same thing, when you have a really, really, really smoking run on a stage, you walk off the stage and look at your friends and go, did that really look as slow as it felt? And they're looking at you like, are you insane? You just blistered it. So it kind of, all sense of time just kind of stops.
That's
for
amazing.
me. It really does.
My blood pressure, it would be so high, because, and it's over so quickly. And I know in a typical year, Kaci, how many rounds of ammunition are you going to shoot?
Depends. This year's going to be a little bit different because I'm actually on the team with Jesse to represent the U.S. at our IPSC World Shoot this year.
Yeah.
So I probably will expend somewhere close to 100,000 rounds this year getting ready.
Good grief. I can't find a box of 50-22 bullets around here. Now I know where it's all going.
Did you hear what she said? She says just to get ready.
Yeah.
That's just to get ready. So needless to say, my poor daddy's been getting worn out, and that 1050's been busy.
Now wait, Kaci. You just said you moved out of home now.
Yes, but my dad still loads my ammo for me.
Okay. Still count on your dad to do that then and everything.
Oh, yes. He's my gunsmith and my coach. And
all right.
Good stuff.
Well, we're talking to Kaci Cochran, and of course she won. She won back in Florida, back in March at Titusville, Florida, the ladies open division, the high lady overall. She's a 2012 Steel Challenge World Speed Shooting Championship Ladies Rimfire Optic World Champion. And this is fast. So what's a typical when you shoot? How many times will you shoot in competition?
A year. Generally, if I go to Steel Challenge, I'll normally shoot all 3 divisions, and I'll compete for the Ladies Steelmaster title, which is the 22 Open Division, regular Open Division centerfire, and limited centerfire. And that generally I do at 3 or 4 matches. And then in IPSC, it's just however many major matches I can get to. Sometimes I shoot up to 14, and sometimes I only shoot 5 or 6. It just kind of depends on what my schedule allows.
Well, what do you do in your off time?
In my off time, I'm actually a waitress right now.
Okay.
Other than that, I like to go to the range and shoot. That's pretty much all I do.
Well, it's amazing. And, Kaci, we really appreciate you taking time on this Saturday morning to be on Outdoors with Larry Rea, and you can tweet Jessie and tell her you've made the big time here. Outdoors with Larry Rea. Yeah.
My hand right now, I'm fixing to call her.
Tell her that and everything. Well, we want to wish you nothing but success in 2014. So what's next for Kaci Cochran for you?
Next, I have a match in South Carolina here in a couple of weeks. And then after that, I have a couple area championships to go to. And then Jessie and I are leaving in September, going to the USPSA Handgun Nationals. And then we come back and we're home for a week or two. And then I head off to shoot the World Shoot in Florida. Wow. Well, a great year for you, Kaci. Thank you for being with us. And I know my listeners will be keeping up with you. Kaci Cochran. Thank you, Kaci. Have a great day, okay? You too. All right, Kaci Cochran. Amazing young lady.
Absolutely.
Wow. All right, let me tell you about next week's show, because it is Open Mic Saturday. We'll be taking your calls next Saturday. Gene Smith will be in studio with me. Dave Gabbert will be on the road but calling in. And we're going to talk to Daryl Radijak for sure about all the things that are happening this past week at the Tennessee Fish and Game Commission meeting, and all the rumors about the $3 limit and all like that. We're going to talk to Daryl Radijak and get all that straightened out on next week's show, Outdoors with Larry Rea. So, and we're going to give away a few prizes. I know I didn't do it last month, and I took a lot of ridicule, but I need to clean the attic out, so we'll be giving away some things. And Ron Wong's got something going on.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. One is I'm going to get a coupon out that will be on lroutdoors.com hopefully by tomorrow. It's an invitation going out to Sportsman's Warehouse this Sunday from 6:30 to 8:30, I believe, or 5:30 to 8:30, where they have family and friends specials, and you get a special discount all the way up to 25% off of some items. I'm going to get that coupon out on Larry's website, where you can just print it off, and that'll be lroutdoors.com, and go out to see them. Also on May 1 is Ladies' Night at Sportsman's Warehouse, and I'm going to be out there doing some fishing seminars, so come on out and see me, and there's going to be a lot of specials for the ladies that night.
And to give equal time on the radio, today and tomorrow at Bass Pro Shops, my good friends at Bass Pro Shops, they're having free need-to-know seminars. It's a Set Your Sights event out there. Speaking of shooting, boy, they have got some stuff going on. It starts at 1:30 today out there with guns and accessories for your modern sporting rifle project. Concealed at 2:30, gun care at 3:30, and guns accessory again at 4:30. Register for a chance to win a Savage 64 Camo 22 long rifle. That's going on out there at Bass Pro Shops and our good folks out there. And again, next Saturday, Open Mic Saturday, taking your calls. I will not be in the woods turkey hunting.
I will.
But I might. I
will.
I know you will. And and Bill the 12th has already killed one.
Crappie are slowing down. Bass are picking up, and the turkeys are hammering.
I heard that.
Little
yesterday.
Bill got his first during the juvenile hunt.
He did, didn't he?
He did.
Good
Beautiful
for
bird.
him. Good,
About
great.
200 yards from where his brother killed his first.
He killed it from a 200-yard shot?
No, his brother
okay.
killed his first one about 200 yards from
I'm
where
just getting saying,
Bill
what a
killed
shot.
his.
Yeah, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty cool.
12 years and 200 yards separated the birds.
Wow. Well, that's a memory right there. Speaking of memories, Rick Lesley, Gary Conklin, May the 25th, right?
Right.
It's the St. Jude Bass Classic.
Here's Point, Sardis, Mississippi.
Stop by Wolf Chase Nissan and see Rick.
And come by and get an application from me.
We'll do it. All right, we got to get out of here. Ben Hogan, thank you for taking care of us. Bill, Ron, thank you for being in the studio. We'll see everybody on the radio. This is Larry Rea reminding you I do each and every week. It doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport, and God bless the USA.
You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Rea.
Power. Let that word sink in for a minute. You crave power. You need power. And at Barton Power Sports, we put all that power right in your hands. Barton Power Sports of Arkansas combines the power of 7 brands from 2 locations into one single company, whose sole mission is to make sure you have the ultimate power sports experience. Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Victory, and Argo. Each line standing on its own, but backed by the Barton Power Sports commitment to excellent service before, during, and after the sale. Barton Power Sports is open 6 days a week to accommodate your schedule. No hidden dog fees. What you see is what you get. Your deal, done your way. Now that's power. Barton Power Sports, with locations in Jonesboro and West Memphis. Go to bartonpowersports.com. The power of play.
For years, you've heard me talking about my love affair with Gaston's White River Resort near Lakeview, Arkansas. Hello, I'm Larry Rea, and in my opinion, there's no better time to visit Gaston's than in the spring. Gaston's in the spring is all about beauty. Spring offers some of the White River's best fishing opportunities to catch lunker rainbows or pole-bending browns. There's beauty in the air when a rainbow or brown takes flight with hook and mouth. Gaston's offers more than 2 miles of river frontage. The beautiful scenery along the White River is a photographer's and nature lover's dream come true. But there's more. At Gaston's, enjoying the great outdoors does not mean roughing it. Its beautiful cottages are first class, comfortable, and spotlessly clean. Some even have large redwood decks. And of course, there's the beauty of the resort's restaurant, famous not only for its food, but its location perched over the White River. As resort owner Jim Gaston likes to say, at Gaston's, it costs no more to go first class. To take my advice, make a memory, go to Gastons.com or call them at 870-431-5202. Tell them Larry Rea sent you.